Hi YouTube, I'm here for a weekly update. I am officially 7 weeks pre-surgery. Eek! 7 weeks! By the way, this smoke over here, that's my incense. When I get in my office in the morning, I light some incense so I could be groovy, so I could write groovy things. Ooh. Anyway, that's my groovy incense. So, anyway, 7 weeks pre-surgery, and I am having some mental stuff and emotional stuff going on pre-surgery. But first, I want to show you. Yesterday, I got in the mail my Yeti. Yay, Yeti! And so I'm a Yeti fan now. I put this in here like 3 hours ago, water right out of the fridge, and it is still just as cold as it ever was. So that means Smiling and Shrinking has to take a sip. If she's still doing that, I know it's been a long time since I've been around. Anyway, I really think that's going to help me with my water because I used to have this smaller, I just use my shaker cup for my shakes for my water, and the water would go all warm, so I wouldn't eat. So I would not drink it all, and then I'd have to refill it, and I'd be lazy about that, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and then you have to put all this ice in it to keep it cold, so you never really knew how much water you were actually drinking. So I'm hoping that'll help me reach my water goals because I really want to start working on that before surgery. So anyway, mental stuff, emotional stuff. I have been feeling a lot of anxiety about surgery, like, oh my God, it's really coming up, and thinking about how much my life is really, really going to be different. So that's been with me like a constant. And I have anxiety anyway, but it's been like this constant anxiety. And it's not that I don't want to have surgery, because I absolutely do. In fact, I'm not even feeling anxious at all about the surgery itself. It's about the life changes and wondering whether I'll be able to handle it or not. I am also I have this pre-op appointment coming up in June, on June 20th, and nobody, like, they just gave me the appointment. Nobody explained to me what would be going on at the appointment. So I was really, really anxious about that as well, because you know how anxiety brain goes. It imagines the worst possible situation. And I was like, oh my God, there's going to be like a final exam or a pop quiz, and it's going to be on all that stuff I learned in those classes, which I was done with in December. And it's going to be all on those classes, and I forgot some stuff, and am I going to have to get my little folder out and cram, and they're going to say no surgery for you, or are they going to tell me at that appointment that I have to pay right then, and that it's going to cost 5 times what I thought it was going to cost, so I wouldn't have the money, and then I wouldn't get surgery, and eek, ugh. And so I've had all this anxiety going on, and then not last night, but the night before, I had this terrible stress dream, which I mentioned on Instagram. And it was about how I was in this bakery that was a French bakery, and I was actually with Rachel of the Carlson clan, and we were in this French bakery, and she was ordering a pizza that was on French bread, but it was for like 8 people. You know, this pizza. And then I was thinking, oh well, that's not enough, so I ordered a whole other pizza just for myself. And I really, it was like I couldn't control myself. I just wanted all this food, all this food, all this food. And then I went to the dessert counter, and I kept ordering like tons and tons and tons of fudge. And again, it was like I couldn't control myself. There was something like a demon or something inside of me that had to have all this food, that was worried about not having enough. So I way overbought. And then the whole time I was like buying this stuff, I was worried about, oh, it's going to max out my credit card and then go over, and I'm going to have all these fees, and I'm not going to be able to afford it, and then all this food, and then I'm going to, gain 100 pounds, and my credit cards will be overdrawn, and I won't, and I'll be miserable and so much further away from where I want to be. And then it was just horrible stress dream. And sometimes dreams are a little obscure. But this one was pretty right on the money about the 2 things I was worried about. Like, I was worried about not being able to pay for surgery, and worried about not being able to lose a little more weight before surgery, and them going, well, you haven't lost weight since we approved you, and so you can't have surgery. And worried about once I have surgery not being able to stick with the plan, or not being able to stick with the pre-op diet or whatever. So that was very unpleasant, and I could really do without those dreams anymore. So the good news is when I woke up, I decided to take the bull by the horns and like eliminate one of those sources of anxiety, or at least lessen it some. So I actually found in my email, my doctor thing with my insurance, the name of the bariatric nurse. And I emailed her and I said, hey, you know, could you tell me what's going to go on at this appointment? And I couched it in terms of like, I didn't say because I'm a big anxious weirdo and I'm having stress dreams and anxiety attacks over what's going to go on at this appointment. I just put it as, you know, do I need to know if I need to have anything prepared, or if I need to bring anything specific. And she wrote back and she said all the pre-op appointment is to go over surgery instructions and the pre-op diet. All that worry for nothing. Isn't it always that way? So that took care of a lot of the anxiety for me, and it made me feel a lot better. No pop quiz, no surgery Nazi like the soup Nazi on Seinfeld. No surgery for you. And so that makes me feel a lot happier and a lot more calm. So and then I get nervous about surgery sometimes, so I do this thing, and I don't know how many of you do it or would admit that you did it, where I'm like, okay, on average, from everybody I've watched, they seem to lose about 12 pounds a month. Some months less, some months more, but over the long haul, it works out to about 11 or 12 pounds a month. So based on 12 pounds a month, I'm like figuring out the dates that I'll weigh certain things. Like, okay, by my birthday, I should be able to hit my 100-pound mark, and by not that I'll lose 100 pounds by my birthday, because it's in October, but that from what I've lost already, I'll lose another, enough to make it another 100. And then this date, and then by the new year, I'll weigh this, and by Valentine's Day, I'll lose this, and oh man, it's craziness, just craziness. Oh, checking the time. We have some time, so I can talk about more stuff. So, but that helps me, like when I get nervous about surgery and I'm scared about surgery, it helps me to make those little timelines, even if they're not going to happen exactly that way, like that old saying, we make a plan and God laughs. Or my other favorite, it was from this movie called The Way of the Gun, and he said, what do you think of the plan? And the other guy said, I think a plan is a list of things that don't happen, which is always true. So I went and made my little plan, and it really soothed me, because making lists and things soothes me. So I like a little touch of OCD. And anyway, but there was also a cool thing, because there's a local amusement park here called Knott's Berry Farm. And it was America's very first theme park, not amusement park, but a theme park. It's Western themed. And I haven't been there since, I honest to God cannot, oh wait, no. I think my nephew was like 4 or 5. So that would be in 1998. So almost 20 years. And I used to go there a lot, and it's really cool. Like, they have sort of Western themed rides, and then they've put in more roller coasters since, and I think like a ghost town and stuff. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, I noticed that when I was out with some friends a couple of weekends ago, we were talking about how, I was talking about how, like, when I lose some weight, I really want to go to a roller coaster park. And so one of my friends and I were talking about that, and she said, well, she could go on everything. Knott's Berry Farm is sort of like a mid-ground between Disneyland and Six Flags Magic Mountain, whereas like Six Flags is all roller coasters and Disneyland is like no roller coasters except Space Mountain. So it's kind of like a middle ground between that. And she was saying that she fits in all the rides, a couple of them just barely, but she does fit. And then she gave me her hip measurement, which is super cool of her to do. So, and then her husband's belly measurement, because he's one of those guys that carries everything in his belly. So she gave me her hip measurement, so that really gives me a goal. I am 61 inches around my hips right now, and she's 53. So, it shouldn't be too terribly long before I can do that and get into the rides. And because I tend to lose weight in my belly and my waist first, which is cool. And a little bit of my face. I mean, I would honestly rather lose it all in my face, because I carry so much weight in my face. honestly rather lose it all on my face first, but you know, it is what it is. So anyway, that's a cool thing that happened and gave me a neat goal. And since I have exact measurements, you know, I can really look forward to that and I not have to be embarrassed. And then I realized, like, I have a lot of things to be grateful to my body for. Like, I think I've mentioned it before, but how healthy I am. I'm extremely healthy. No diabetes or even trace of it. No high blood pressure. None of that. And I can do boot camp exercise, and it, you know, it's a lot of work, but I can do it. And you know, walk all like 2 miles down the beach, and walk up a giant hill, and walk 5 miles in Las Vegas that one time. Now that was unpleasant, okay, but I did it, and all these really cool things. And then when we were doing measurements for the rides, I measured my hips, which are 61, and then my waist, which was 51. And I thought, damn, that's a really big difference between my waist and my hips, and that's kind of cool, you know, that I have a nice waist, and there's no reason I shouldn't have that after surgery. And that's like, you know, all of our bodies are so much more beautiful than we give them credit for. You know, we like to say horrible things about them all the time, and we never really give them credit for what they do good. So that's my message for you about that, is look for things in your body right now that are wonderful, and try to focus on those things. Because I read somewhere once, somebody said, you know, it's self-acceptance starts now, not after surgery. So anyway, I'm really glad all of you seem to be doing really, really well, and the ones that have had surgery most recently, I'm very proud of you, and love watching your progress, because it gives me something to sort of gauge what I'm doing by. And so all good things. I'm going to be trying to post more regularly, is not having these giant hiatuses months and months and months, because we are getting closer to surgery. So I actually have a week measurement now. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. It was great talking to you as usual.